All right, good Tuesday morning. Let's fire up this First Alert weather live stream. This is First Alert Chief Meteorologist Steve Beylon in the First Alert Weather Center. It's your Tuesday. It's my Monday. Back after having some time off, and it was a nice, refreshing few days with my wife and I, and did a little minor traveling and a few fun things around town, but now it's time to get back at it on this Tuesday morning and talk about your weather. We do have overcast skies across much of the area. This is a live view from downtown Appleton with a VAR wind. That's a variable wind in direction, by the way. 3 miles an hour. We've got a temperature of 36 degrees, and the wind isn't strong enough to really have much of a wind chill factor. It also feels like 36 degrees. We have cloudy skies, but not a lot of wet weather, as First Alert Viper Max looks mainly dry. We are picking up on some moisture up in the clouds passing through Sheboygan County. I'm not convinced that's all reaching the ground, but maybe there's a couple pockets of drizzle there moving out over Lake Michigan. Most of the precipitation we've had this morning has been passing through southern Wisconsin. This little weak disturbance has produced a little bit of some drizzle and maybe a little bit of some icy mixed precipitation near Madison, but we are, for the most part, dry across the area. We can't rule out a little bit of some drizzle or a little bit of a spotty mix somewhere this morning, and keep in mind our temperatures are not far from the freezing mark, and so if any drizzle or mist develops, roads could get a little bit slick, but this would be really the exception to the rule. I think for the most part, travel is going to be just fine today. Clouds, maybe a spotty mix or drizzle this morning, maybe. We'll see some late day sunshine as this disturbance moves away, and we'll have a high temperature of 44 degrees. Light southwest winds will rule the roost with generally 5, maybe at most 10 mile per hour breezes. So First Alert pinpoint predictor, a lot of clouds. Predictor hints at a little spotty mix through the midday. I'm not convinced that's going to happen, but there's a chance. Not completely dry. And then in the afternoon, you can see the clearing skies. So once we get to about 3, 4, 5 o'clock this afternoon, we should have some sunshine, and skies will be mostly clear tonight with some areas of fog developing in the north woods, especially after midnight, and that'll be especially where there's still some snow on the ground. High temperatures today, above average by roughly a good 10 degrees. 35 is average. 45 will be your high this afternoon in Appleton, as warm as 48 in Wapaka. Low 40s, Bayside and Lakeside. It won't be long until we start talking about weather that's cooler by the lakeshore. That's usually pretty common in spring. And it will be very spring-like this week with our highs getting into the 40s and lots of 50s. Well, some 50s are possible tomorrow. 50s are more likely late in the week, Friday and into the weekend. And that is when we get our next weather maker. We're going to have some periods of beneficial rainfall. There's a chance of showers late Thursday, but most of the rain is coming in Friday night into Saturday. We can't rule out a couple claps of thunder Friday night, but severe storms are not expected. Low pressure is churning out in the Pacific. See that red L? That's where there's a little buckle in the jet stream, and that's pushing towards the California coast. Now, by the time we wrap up the week, that is going to traverse across the Rockies, the Central Plains, and then bend towards the Great Lakes, and will be impacted by it. So let's go to First Alert Pinpoint Predictor. We're going to pick this up on Friday. Friday is when we get a wet day. We'll have cloudy skies, and notice the showers that come in, especially as we go into the afternoon. So some rain, and that rain continues Friday night, and that's when you might hear a couple rumbles of thunder, and still some showers Saturday morning, but any snow and icy precipitation, that'll stay to our north and west. And the rain moves out Saturday afternoon. So it looks like we're going to be dry and clearing out as we go into Saturday night. So here's predictors rainfall over the next 5 days, and areas south of Green Bay could see up to an inch of rain with not as much in the north, but still half an inch of overdue moisture would be a good thing. Remember, we had drought conditions to wrap up last year, and that didn't just magically go away. So even though the growing season hasn't begun, it'd be nice to get a little bit of moisture, give us a running start when things do start to green up as we go into April and May. And, this this 5-day rainfall outlook, it's mostly the rain that comes in Friday and Saturday, although there's a little bit possibly in the forecast Thursday. So the lion's share of the rain over the next 5 days is going to be Friday into Saturday. Now, keep in mind the ground is still frozen, so if you get a ½ inch to an inch of rain off top of that frozen ground, there might be some areas of standing water and low-lying spots heading into the weekend, but I don't think we have any flooding issues per se. For the most part, that rain is going to be welcome. So there's your First Alert Super 7-day forecast. Today, a lot of clouds, a little bit of late-day sun, a high of 44, warming up to 53 tomorrow with sunshine and a light south breeze. So we get low and maybe some mid-50s inland, but by the bay shore, by the lake shore, cooler as you're close to that chilly Lake Michigan water. Highs will be mostly in the mid to upper 40s, but still above average. 34 is a more normal high temperature for this time of year. Looking ahead, we've got 44 with a few late showers on Thursday, and then 50s for Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. Sunday is when the clocks spring forward an hour for daylight saving time. So, hopefully you get yourself to bed at a decent time Saturday night, and the sun will be up a little bit later Sunday morning, but also staying out a little bit later Sunday evening. So there's definitely some trade-off there. So definitely some signs of spring on that Super 7-day forecast, with some rain, some warmer than normal temperatures, and then the clock shifting forward an hour. All right, so we are still in winter. Winter weather can happen. Heck, we've even had blizzards around here into April, so it's always good to be on your toes by using our free WBAY First Alert Weather app. Scan the QR code on the left side of your screen to download that for free. Coming up on Action 2 News at noon and at 4, meteorologist Nolan Kane is going to give you a forecast update, and I'm sure he's going to keep an eye on that rain chance or chances later this week. So make sure you stick with Nolan through the midday, and he will have you covered. All right, so there you go. That is your weather in a nutshell. Action 2 News, mid-morning, starts in about 10 minutes. And Kristen, you're doing the 9 a.m. show, right?
I am doing the 9 a.m. show.
Is it all this week?
All this week.
All this week. So Kristen's got Aisha covered because Aisha's on vacation. So Kristen's going to put the finishing touches on that mid-morning newscast, and she'll be on the TV side in about 10 minutes. So she'll have you covered with that, and I'll give you a weather update on the mid-morning show as well. We will end this off with a live shot from Manitowoc. Good morning, Manitowoc. Still a little bit of ice there in the Manitowoc River, gray skies. There's a slight chance of drizzle or maybe a little bit of a light mix, but most folks will stay dry. Ooh, and a passing seagull. Thank you, Squawky. Appreciate you giving us a little cameo on this Tuesday morning. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. Bye-bye.